So here's what we have to work with. Oh, no. This should be everything we need to build the 1NZ harness for the Speeduino, but keep opening up more and more threads. Let's try to accomplish one thing at a time. Right now we're focusing on getting the battery together. Right now we're focused on getting the dual battery isolator set up. But before we do anything, let's add the new subscribers to the Yaris. Patron 826, Joel Spowart, Eddie 31, Laura Murphy, Auslander 24, BH Webb, welcome to the arcade. So I have like hella notebooks. So I was just going through one of my notebooks and I found this crazy page. Yeah, I don't know. I'm cuckoo. Some of my stuff is here's some of my drawings. But yeah, I've got a lot of these notebooks. This is what I'm working on. We have the main battery, which is the one inside the engine bay. We have the 2 fuses. We have the dual battery isolator and the secondary battery. So we're gonna go from main battery to fuse, fuse to positive on DB, and then same, positive on DB to fuse to secondary battery. These ground wires connect together, then the dual battery isolator ground is grounded to chassis. So some bare piece of metal somewhere, and we'll make that happen. I used to play EverQuest. One of my characters was a halfling druid, and I used to play a lot with this other halfling warrior, and they would tell me, they lived in like Connecticut or something like that, I can't remember, but they would tell me like, oh, I gotta use the bathroom, and then they would be back in like seconds, not seconds, like really fast. And I'm like, whoa. At one point I asked, I was like, how do you pee so fast? And they were like, oh, I keep Pepsi cans next to me. Okay. Here we have about everything we need to get started with our electrical system. Yeah, so we have 2 fuses and a bunch of fuses for them. This is 6-gauge wire, and we want our system to have a max of 80 amps. So we're gonna have 80 amp fuses. We also got some wing nuts. These are max 2 6-gauges. So that's what we should be tying together if we tie anything together. I also might solder it. I don't know, I've never worked with wires before. Then we picked up ring terminal connectors. We're gonna use the ring terminal connectors to connect to battery terminals. So we'll get marine style terminals, which is what we're missing. Oh, and then this is the dual battery isolators. We also have a cigarette lighter adapter to run this Juniper. It is a 120 watt with a peak of 250 watt inverter. So yeah. From here, I'm just gonna try to test the setup. Before we get too far, I want to check to make sure everything is working in continuity or whatever. So makes sense that these aren't continuing, so that's a good sign. And here's the end of that wire. Sick. And here's the end of that wire. Awesome. I guess this is the realized circuit, from paper to reality. All right, well, we have the power, main battery, fuse, power line. What the? Positive, fuse, line, positive. Okay, fuse. And then we have the dual battery isolator, has its negative connected to chassis ground. And then we will now hook up the negative battery to this one and hopefully not blow up. Okay, so nothing happened, which I think makes sense. Oh, that turned on. We're getting 13.1 volts. It says auto manual. I don't know what that means. Auto manual. I guess we can turn the car on and see if something happens. Okay, so after messing around with that power button a little bit, we have a blue light, and I think that means that it's working. When we turn off the battery, now when we turn off the car, it should show the voltage, and then once that voltage drops to a certain amount, then it shuts off. I think that's how it works. So we put the phone on the charger, and now that's showing 13.1, 13.0. So it should cut off once it's at 13 or 12.8, I think, according to the sticker. Blue light's on, it's manual mode. Now we're in the automatic mode, so it shut off after it was lower than 0.3. So I think this light shut off. So now I'm trying to find the best way into the cabin. It does seem like it's gonna be through this tunnel, which leads to the shift linkage. We could also, seems like we can get in through this, but it might be much more difficult to do that. I'm on my jack right now, so I tried to do this thing to gain access to underneath where the trans tunnel is, but after further investigation, it's like really in there. Best place is probably going to be coming from the dash or that other place that I showed you, but what I'm going to do instead, come up through this guy. So we're going to come up here because I can get the wire to come down, and then we'll come through here because the chassis is like right here. And then that should be like right next to the battery anyways. So then we'll have a wire that's going around here. But what we'll do is, like, this is the frame rail, right? So we don't want to be hitting that anyway. So if we're above the frame rail, we shouldn't hit anything. Looks like 10 feet will get us almost all the way there. Is so 10 feet, 5 feet rather, has got us here. So I guess we probably need 10 feet total. 2 5-feet wire, so 10 foot total. Got us, so I disconnected the fuse so we don't spark up, but it got us into the cabin and exactly where the battery's gonna go, right? So if we get another 10 feet, the problem is they only come in 2, so 2 5, and then we have to like tie it again, which I'm not happy with. How crazy is it? Pokemon has its own magazine. There used to be video game magazines, not anymore. Now there's just Pokemon magazine. A booster pack with it. I wonder if these did too and someone stole them. That sucks. We're gonna keep moving forward on the battery. We will be ordering a battery box because thanks to Cast and some of our other subscribers, they let us know that when the battery's charging, it releases a gas. And so we ordered this battery box. And yeah, but in the meantime, we still need to hook up the wires, and I wanna set up these window, and I wanna install the window visors, cleaners, window. I feel like it's getting a new tattoo every time we do this. It's so cool. Maybe others with similar soup struggles would understand. I'm aware that my workout routine is not where it should be, and so rather than fixing it, I'm like adding on to these things, you know, so you can, it's hard when you can identify like where you're slipping up, where you're pushing yourself down, you're using the energy in a counterintuitive way rather than like using that same, because you know we have to take actions in order to stop ourselves. So rather than taking the action to stop yourself, you could take the action to do the thing that's, you know, to lower your stressors, or to utilize the stressors in a more positive direction. And I don't know, some days it's just really difficult to transmute that.